Okay, the audio will start in 5 seconds. Please be attentive.
The key findings seem to contradict our initial hypothesis.
What is the answer?
The key findings seem to contradict our initial hypothesis.
Does anybody have a different answer?
I did not note the key findings seem to contradict initial hypothesis.
So this is the correct answer. Now, yes, please. Yeah.
I have missed 3 words: theme, to, and are.
Okay. I'll tell you what happens. I'll tell you. Okay, see. Once you write your answer, at the end of your answer, please put a full stop. And please start your answer with a capital letter. Now, putting a full stop at the end and starting with a capital letter, these two are again recommendations. It is not compulsory, okay? These are recommendations. Even if you don't, it's okay, but highly recommended that you do. Okay. On the left hand side, you can see the total word count. 9. Now please remember a very simple rule for grammar. Whenever you check your answer, always check 2 things. Number 1, spelling. Number 2, grammar. Now the third word in this sentence is findings. Now findings ends with S, which means it is a plural noun. It is plural, okay? A very simple rule is that whenever your noun is plural and if it's followed by a verb, that verb will not end with S, which means it will be singular. It will always be the opposite. Does it make sense what I'm saying, guys?
Yes.
So if the word is finding, it will be seems. And if it's findings, it will be seem. It's always the opposite. Now I will play one more sentence. I want all of you to try again. But before that, there is a small suggestion which I can give it to everyone. There are 2 ways in which you can actually improve your noting speed and your noting skills in this task. Number 1, it's a very old technique that when the audio is being spoken, you can quickly note down the initials on your sheet. Initials means the first letter of every word, okay? And that's not my technique. It's a very old technique. Even tutors before me have been teaching that. So that is not a big deal. What I suggest is that when you're noting down the initials, or even if you're typing directly, it doesn't matter. Like, for example, in the real exam, I type. I never take notes. I just type directly because I'm more comfortable and I'm pretty quick at typing. So that's what I do personally. Now what I do is that when I type, I actually keep on repeating the sentence by speaking it. So till I don't type the full sentence, until the full stop, I'll just keep on repeating it non-stop, as if I'm chanting a mantra or something like that. Basically, I control my brain. And I won't allow my brain to forget the sentence, something like that. So you also have to control your brain, because short-term memory is a part of this task. And if we forget one word here, one word there, all these things can be, compensated. But the only thing is practice. The more you practice, the quicker you will improve. So now I'll play the next audio. I want all of you to get it 100% right. Again, I'm saying if you want, you can actually repeat the sentence. Keep repeating it also. Don't care about others. Even if you disturb others, let them go to hell. You would care about your own test, okay? Okay.
Sir.
Yes.
While you play the audio, I was getting disturbance. So
I agree, but
if it's possible, what if we all mute the mic?
Yeah, we can.
during the
Okay,
audio?
that is a very good suggestion. We can mute it right now, Deep. But I'll be very honest with you. In the real exam, in the audio itself, there is some disturbance.
Okay.
There might be music going on, something like that. So right now, yes, we can mute it. But just letting you know, in the real exam, mentally be prepared that there can be some additional sounds in the background. Okay, guys, but yes, it's a good suggestion. Right now we can mute it, and when we discuss the answers we can unmute it. Okay, please be ready. I'm going to play the next one. The audio starts in 7 seconds.
To improve the essay, I decided to include more direct quotes.
What was the answer?
To improve the essay, I decided to include more direct quotes.
More direct.
More direct quotes.
Yeah, so this is the correct answer. To improve the essay, I decided to include more direct quotes. Total number of words is 11. Now one more thing, whenever your sentence is a bit lengthy, that's more than 10 words, and if you think that the speaker takes a pause somewhere, then you can put a comma. So you can see that after the word essay, I have put a comma because there was a prominent pause over there. So it was a separate phrase after that, right? So that's why I have put a comma. Now, even if you don't put a comma, it is okay. There is no penalty. And if you are not sure, don't put the comma. It's okay. All right. Now, let me explain the scoring criteria quickly. Excuse me. For every word which you type correctly, and if and only if your answer is 100% correct, you will be rewarded 1 point per word. Okay? So again I'm repeating, if your answer is 100% correct, if and only if, then you will be rewarded 1 point per word, and that 1 point you will get in both listening and writing. For example, this sentence has 11 words. So if all my 11 words are in the correct sequence, and if there is no spelling mistake, if there is no grammatical mistake, then I will get 11 points out of 90 in both listening and writing. And as I said, you will get 3 to 4 such questions at the end of the test. So if you get 4 questions, approximately that will be around 30 points, approximately 30 to 32 points out of 90 in both listening and writing. And that's why this is a super high scoring task. Is it clear what I'm saying, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
Yeah, but what's happening other ways?
I'm telling you. I'll tell you what happens. Yeah. That's what I was coming to next. Now what happens, let's say, what is this word over here? Include. To improve the essay, I decided to include more direct quotes. Now instead of include, if I write the word add. Now add more quotes, include more quotes, it's a very similar sentence. The meaning is very similar. So what happens, since there is no spelling mistake and since there is no grammatical mistake in my answer, in my writing score, I will still get a very high score. So out of 11 points, maybe I will get a penalty of 1 point because of one, replaced word, but still I'll get 10 out of 11. But the problem is, my answer is not 100% correct. And that's why in listening, unfortunately, I will get 0. Which means how many points will I lose? Around 11 points. So what happens is this. Now let's say, again, everything is perfect in my answer, but I have missed this word. To improve the essay, I decided to include direct quotes. I have missed one word, more. Now if you read my answer, spelling wise and grammar wise, my answer is perfect. But in reality, is my answer 100% perfect? Yes or no?
No.
The answer is no, because I have missed a word right in the middle of the sequence. And if the sequence is not correct, in listening I will always get 0. Yes, in writing I might get maybe 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 11, but in listening I will get 0. So what happens is that if you miss one word in the middle of the sentence, you will get 0 for the whole sentence. And that is the big problem in this task. So, and that's why I say that this is always the most important task in PTE, whether your target score, whether your desired score is 8 each or 7 each or 6 each, it doesn't matter. This task will decide whether you get a good score in listening and writing both. Okay. So that's the thing. Now, one thing which is a bit helpful in this task, so there is a trick, sort of a trick technique in this task, which I'll tell now. Sometimes what happens, even when we know the answer, because this task is always repeated from the material which I share, like 99% chance that you will get a repeated question from my material, 99% chance. Very rarely will you get a new sentence, very, very rare in the exam. But what happens, PT is very smart. So what they do, they keep on changing one word in the sentence here and there, because they also know that people memorize answers. So they don't want people just to memorize and pass tests, So they make some variations. And sometimes it's so fast that we might not be 100% sure. For example, to improve the essay, I decided to include more direct quotes. Now this word you could not understand, right? When I said it, it was very unclear. Purposely, even in PT, they do that. Make it very unclear. So now what we can do, if we are 100% sure that it was either add or include, you can take a chance and you can write both the words together. Okay. So in short, what you're doing, you are writing an extra word in your answer. Now, if you read the sentence, it says, to improve the essay, I decided to include add or add include more direct quotes. It doesn't make any sense, right? It's a nonsensical sentence. But if everything else in the exam is 100% correct, and by everything else, I mean every single question except this question is 100% right, then the software will overlook this mistake and will give you 90 out of 90. So that is a trick in this task, okay? But remember, if you try this in the exam, like writing an extra word, you should try it maximum only one time. Only once in only one sentence, okay? You can't try it again and again. Is it clear what I'm saying, guys?
Yeah.
And this thing is pretty helpful when you're not sure about articles. What are articles? A and the. Because sometimes the audio is so fast that you might not be sure. For example, you might not be sure whether the speaker said the essay or an essay. So what do you write then? You write both. Just leave a space, one single space, and write both the words. But as I said, you can do it only one time. You can't do it every time. Otherwise, it's going to be a penalty. And again, I'm reminding, this technique works. It definitely works. 100% it works. But it works only if you use it once and there are no other mistakes in the entire test. If you leave one listening fill in the blank, for example, and then if you do this, this technique will fail you. So just be a bit careful in case if you use it in the real exam, okay? Alright. Now, one last thing.